What if the most powerful thing you could ever do is the one thing you have been trained your entire life to avoid? What if the miracles you have been chasing, the breakthroughs you have been forcing, the answers you have been hunting down in every book and every practice and every desperate late-night prayer? What if all of them have been circling you this entire time, waiting not for you to reach harder, but for you to stop reaching altogether? What if the very act of stopping, of becoming still, of refusing to chase, is the signal the universe has been waiting for? Not because stillness is passive, but because stillness is the only state in which you become visible to the intelligence that has been trying to reach you all along. There is a field around you, not a metaphor, not a poetic abstraction, a measurable, radiating, electromagnetic phenomenon generated by the organ sitting in the center of your chest. Your heart produces an electrical field roughly 60 times greater in amplitude than the electrical activity of your brain. Its magnetic component is approximately 5,000 times stronger than the brain's magnetic field. This is not speculation. This has been measured using magnetometers, superconducting quantum interference devices, instruments sensitive enough to detect fields emanating several feet beyond the surface of your skin. The HeartMath Institute has documented this extensively. When you place two people in proximity, the electromagnetic output of one person's heart can be detected in the other person's brainwave patterns. Your heart is not just pumping blood. It is broadcasting. It is transmitting a coherent electromagnetic signal into the space around you, and that signal carries information. This is your quantum halo. Not a mystical decoration, not a reward you earn through good behavior or spiritual achievement. It is a biophysical reality. A field of coherent energy that surrounds your body at all times, generated primarily by the rhythmic electrical activity of your heart, but modulated, shaped, and informed by your emotional state, your nervous system coherence, and the degree to which your internal systems are synchronized. When your heart rhythm pattern becomes smooth and ordered, what researchers call cardiac coherence, this field changes. It becomes more organized, more stable, more influential, and something remarkable happens in that coherence. The field stops being noise and starts being signal. Think about what that means. You are walking through your life surrounded by an invisible broadcast. Every room you enter, every person you stand near, every decision you sit with, you are radiating information into the environment before you say a single word, before you make a conscious choice, before you even know what you are feeling. The field is already speaking. The question is not whether you have this halo. You do. Every human being does. The question is what your halo is saying. And this is where most people unknowingly sabotage themselves. Because the content of your field, the information it carries, is not determined by what you want. It is determined by what you are. Not what you think you are. Not the affirmations you repeat in the mirror. Not the vision board on your wall. What you actually are at the level of your nervous system, at the level of your heart rhythm variability, At the level of the electromagnetic coherence your body is generating moment to moment. If your internal state is fragmented, if your nervous system is locked in a chronic stress response, if your heart rhythm is jagged and disordered, your halo reflects that. It broadcasts incoherence. And incoherence does not attract miracles. Incoherence attracts more of what produced it: confusion, delay, resistance. Situations that mirror the disorder you are carrying inside. This is not punishment. This is physics. When a radio tower transmits a garbled signal, it does not matter how powerful the transmission is. The signal cannot be received clearly. The information degrades. The message distorts. And anything trying to tune into that frequency gets static instead of music. Your field works the same way. When your internal state is incoherent, the universe cannot deliver to you clearly. Not because the universe is withholding, not because you are unworthy, but because your own signal is jamming the reception. You are broadcasting interference on the very frequency that miracles travel on. If what we are uncovering about your field is striking a nerve, there is something I want to share. Have you spent years trying to protect your peace, boundaries, energy work, shielding visualizations? And you still walk out of every room drained. Every one of those tools is trying to put a wall around you. That's not where protection actually comes from. It comes from how stable you are on the inside when other people's chaos walks in. Inside the halo, a quantum guide to energetic protection for those who feel everything walks through the 4 parts of getting that stability. From the signal you've been giving off without knowing to walking through hard rooms without getting wrecked. Every shield you built sat on the outside. This one rebuilds the inside so the room can't reach you anymore. The longer you keep working on the outside, the worse the inside gets. So do this one tonight. You'll find the link in the pinned comment below. Now, back to the deeper mechanics of how coherence transforms your signal. Now consider the opposite. Consider what happens when your heart rhythm becomes coherent, when your breathing slows and deepens, when your nervous system shifts from sympathetic dominance, from that tight, vigilant, cortisol-soaked state of perpetual readiness, into parasympathetic engagement, into rest, into receptivity, into the physiological state your body was designed to spend most of its time in, but rarely does in the modern world. In that state, your heart rhythm pattern smooths into a sine wave-like oscillation. Your heart rate variability increases, which is a marker of adaptability, resilience, and biological youth. Your brain waves begin to synchronize with your heart rhythm through a process called entrainment. Your prefrontal cortex comes online more fully, giving you access to clearer thinking, broader perception, and what researchers describe as increased cognitive flexibility. But here is what matters most for what we are discussing. In that state of coherence, your electromagnetic field changes qualitatively. It does not just get stronger, it gets more organized, more information-rich, more capable of interacting with fields around it in a constructive, resonant way. Your halo becomes, in the language of physics, a coherent signal source, And coherent signals do something incoherent signals cannot. They entrain their environment. They influence surrounding fields to match their pattern. They do not force. They do not push. They simply radiate with such consistency and clarity that everything in proximity begins to organize around them. This is how miracles come to you. Not through effort, not through manipulation, not through the exhausting spiritual hustle of trying to vibrate higher or manifest harder or align yourself with some external standard of worthiness. Miracles come to you when your field becomes coherent enough to function as an attractor. When your halo stops broadcasting static and starts broadcasting signal. When you stop trying to go get what you want and instead become the kind of field that what you want naturally moves toward. If this is resonating with something deep inside you, if you can feel the truth of this landing in your body right now, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to this channel, so these transmissions continue to find you. Let me be specific about what coherence actually looks like in practice, because this is where most teachings leave you stranded. They tell you to raise your vibration. They tell you to feel as if your desire has already manifested. They tell you to align with abundance. But they rarely tell you what is actually happening in your body when those instructions work, and more importantly, why those instructions so often fail. The reason they fail is that you cannot fake coherence. Your heart rhythm pattern is not under voluntary conscious control in the way your thoughts are. You can decide to think a positive thought. You can repeat an affirmation. You can visualize yourself wealthy and healthy and surrounded by love. But if your autonomic nervous system is in a state of threat, if your vagal tone is low, if your body is running a survival program beneath the surface of your conscious awareness, your heart rhythm will remain incoherent no matter what your mind is doing. And it is the heart's field, not the mind's narrative, that determines what your halo broadcasts. This is why people can spend years doing affirmations and visualizations and still feel stuck. Their mind is saying one thing, their field is saying another, and the field always wins. Not because the field is more real than thought, but because the field is the integrated output of your entire system. It reflects everything: your unresolved grief, your childhood survival patterns, your habitual muscle tension, your breathing rate, your gut microbiome's influence on your vagus nerve, your sleep quality, the degree to which you feel safe in your own body. All of it feeds into the coherence or incoherence of your heart rhythm, and all of it shapes the information your halo carries into the world. So when someone tells you to just think positive, they are asking you to change the label on a package without changing what is inside. And the universe does not read labels. It reads fields. This brings us to the real practice. The practice that actually shifts your halo from incoherent to coherent, from noise to signal, from a field assist that repels what you want to a field that draws it in. And it is not what you might expect. It is not more effort. It is not more technique. It is not more doing. The practice is stopping. Not stopping as in giving up. Not stopping as in resignation or apathy or spiritual bypassing.